Let's talk about Microsoft Exchange Server. If you don't know what it is, it's an email server responsible for receiving your emails and then giving them to someone more important. However, all software has its cracks, and Exchange's cracks were just very, very publicly exposed. It's made especially bad by the fact that it's a zero-day exploit. You see, if you don't know, there are two types of exploits. Those that are discovered by security researchers looking for exploits before they appear, and those that are found and then exploited by hackers. Zero-day exploits are the latter category. It becomes a race between the attackers and the company responsible to either exploit the bug or fix it, depending on who's who. Let's massively oversimplify the whole ordeal. Side note, I won't be going into too much detail. The exploit still isn't patched, and I don't want people watching this video to actually try it. The exploit is actually a combination of two other bugs. In the first, you send the server data formatted in such a way that tricks it into putting that data into a variable. That data gets passed off to some naive string processing code in .NET that combines that variable with some other things to produce a URL. Then Exchange acts on that URL, which is exactly what the hackers want. You can get the servers to read files it has access to, or write the files it has access to. But wait, there's more. The second bug revolves around some of the configuration files that Exchange uses. Normally, it should be pretty innocuous. However, some of the values can, in certain cases, be interpreted as a script, even if it shouldn't. Some parts of Exchange do that, so attackers, if they use the first bug to modify a configuration file, could trick Exchange into running arbitrary code. Since Exchange tends to be pretty important, it has high levels of privilege, which are now being used to do whatever the attacker wants. The attacker can use that power to set up a remote connection on a computer, and then they can do whatever they want, from slowly siphoning out all your information, which is a problem for email servers, to infecting that computer with ransomware. This vulnerability has already been used by several parties. So far, the main attacker has been Hafnium, a group that Microsoft says has ties to China. They have attacked industry, disease researchers, law firms, colleges, and pretty much everyone else under the sun. Microsoft has already patched out some of the bugs I mentioned above, as well as a couple of others I didn't. However, an email server is pretty important, so organizations keep it up for long periods of time, which means they don't get updated unless it's absolutely necessary. There are still several servers susceptible to attacks. So, what's the moral of the story? First of all, for the programmers out there, make sure your string processing code is as bulletproof as you can make it. This is a rough estimate, but I think about 25 to 50% of all breaches I see are because someone missed some edge case while they were processing strings. Even in memory-safe languages, I see people making assumptions about the data they'll be reading all the time, which an attacker can use to completely break code. Secondly, just because software is released by a company doesn't make it completely secure. Microsoft is one of the big four, and is arguably the biggest of the big four. Google may control the data, and Amazon definitely has more money. But Microsoft controls the most software between Windows, Office, Edge, Bing, Xbox, and all the other companies they own. Yet, even they let a huge bug slip by. Remember to never put your trust completely on anything. Of course, we have to trust some systems because they'll literally make life and death decisions on a day-to-day basis, and that's why I'm scared of technology.